My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to the 18th Sunday of the Ordinary Time, in which Christ invites us to use our possessions, our wealth, and all that God has given us in a very meaningful way, so as not to lose our souls. And now let us listen to the Gospel reading of the day. The Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 12, verse 13 to 21. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." He replied to him, "Friend, who appointed me as your judge and arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Take care to guard against all greed. For though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. He asked himself, "What shall I do? For I have not space to store my harvest." And he said, "This is what I shall do. I shall tear down my barns and build larger ones. There I shall store all my grain and other goods. And I shall say to myself, now as for you, you have so many good things stored up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong? Thus will it be for the one who stores up treasure for himself, but is not rich in what matters to God." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to your Lord Jesus Christ. My dear brothers, as I said in the beginning, that Christ is inviting us to use our possessions in a meaningful way. Therefore, Jesus, on the parable of the rich fool, is not against riches per se, but on the attitude that we have regarding these riches. What is the attitude that develops as one becomes rich? In fact, in the culture of the Jews, and even in many cultures, being rich, having many possessions, having many children, having wealth was considered a blessing from God. And indeed, it is a blessing. But also living long and having fruitful life is a blessing, as we hear so many times regarding the patriarchs who died after living a fruitful life, having seen generations of their children. Now, recalling the story of the Exodus, the foundation of Israel's identity as people of God, we can read during the Passover event that a family which had a lamb that they could not finish, they were supposed to share with another family, a neighboring family. We read this in Exodus chapter 12, verse 3. What is lacking should be given by another who has more. And this is the problem of the rich man. He has everything. He has even more. But instead, he speaks to himself and he wants everything for himself. And therefore, he decides to store everything for himself. This is the typical egoism that ruins the world today. We must remember that we are all pilgrims on this earth. We have things that God has given us, even though some may seem out of our hard work. But work without the blessings of God is futile. We are called to share with others. It's only in sharing that life becomes enjoyable, life becomes meaningful. Sometime back, parents used to teach their children the value of sharing. Unfortunately, today, parents have less time. We all have less time to teach and hand over these values. The psalmist nicely prays, I ask two things from you, Lord. Don't refuse me before I die. Keep me from lying and being dishonest. And don't make me either rich or poor. Just give me enough food for each day. If I have too much, I might reject you and say, I don't know the Lord. If I am poor, I might steal and disgrace the name of my God. In Psalms 30, verse 7 to 9. In the readings of today, we hear Koheleth, very much practical, who says things that we see on this world are all hevel. They are passing. They are not eternal. And everything that some human beings will trust in are only created things that come and disappear. And therefore, we must avoid this arrogance which comes when we become rich, the arrogance that develops as we develop in possessions. Instead, as we grow richer, we must also grow in humility, realizing that all this that we have is only a blessing from the Lord. And in fact, as we get more possessions, our souls are distracted. We become restless, we become sleepless, a lot of insecurity, preoccupied with what we have, how to defend it. Let us pray in this time, in this Sunday, for the grace to know how to use our riches, especially in sharing with others, that life may become more meaningful and thus we may become more blessed. The Lord be with you. The Lord bless you. The Lord shower his blessings upon you as we live this Sunday.